Hey everyone, it's John here. Welcome back to the channel. This video is going to be for the Montreal Canadiens and the Carolina Hurricanes lineup predictions for the 2021-2022 season. So big stuff just went down. Obviously the offer sheet for Kotkaniemi. Montreal decides not to match. He goes to Carolina, and then Montreal, in a different move, goes after Christian Dvorak, trades a first and a second after they got a first and a third in compensation for the Kotkaniemi offer sheet, and they get Christian Dvorak from the Coyotes. So we have new lineups for these guys. Montreal, Carolina. We're going to go through it, guys. Welcome if you're a new subscriber. Hit that like button and definitely leave your thoughts in the comment section. So let's start with the Montreal Canadiens that made a big move getting Dvorak after losing Kotkaniemi. They made a couple moves in free agency. So let's look at it. You guys will give me your thoughts, and then we'll look at Carolina as well. So Montreal. This is kind of where I think a lot of fans are leaning towards. So Toffoli, Suzuki, Caulfield running back that first line. Then you have Hoffman, Dvorak, Gallagher. So the two newbies with Brendan Gallagher, who's been an OG Montreal Canadian. Then you have Duran, who's coming back with Paling and Anderson. So I think the mindset on this top nine is like you have a little bit of something on every line. So Toffoli, Suzuki, Caulfield, you know how versatile, how dynamic those guys are. Specifically with Toffoli just breaking out last year. And then Suzuki and Caulfield, we know the skill level there. I'm so high on Suzuki going forward, and then Caulfield's going to be great as well. You have Hoffman, Dvorak, Gallagher. Dvorak can play a really good two-way game, can get playmaking going. You know he can score. Hoffman, that pure scorer, I expect him to score 25-plus goals. Gallagher, we know he can drive the net. We know how versatile, how strong, how consistent Gallagher can be in terms of energy, in terms of passion on the ice. Obviously, his scoring sometimes goes cold, but you have Hoffman. You have guys on his line that can score. So I like Gallagher in that offensive situation. Duran, Paling, Anderson, you have the playmaking ability from Duran. Paling, we're trying to see more goals from him, as well as Anderson. And then your fourth line, Lehkonen, Evans, Armia. Good, strong. You're not going to get too many mistakes from those guys for the most part. Obviously, for a guy like Jake Evans coming off that scary injury, but he's a guy that we know, and we saw it in the playoffs towards the end. We know he can bring energy, he can bring consistency, and he can bring a defensive presence as well. So he could be in a third or fourth line role I could see, and then Lehkonen and Armia, same thing. Edmondson, Petrie, your top pair with Chiarot, Savard. I've kind of had the mindset like Savard, while he's not replacing Shea Weber, not many guys can replace Shea Weber. Yes, he was older, but the leadership, the consistency, just from being strong and a voice in the room and on the ice. So I think Savard, you're not going to expect that from him. Petrie's going to have to bring more of a leadership role, but the defensive aspect of Savard is going to be there with potentially a pairing with Chiarot. So Kulak, Romanov, I like that defensive pairing. And then Wideman. I mean, Wideman can fit in at any point. I could see a scenario where if Kulak's not showing well, you put Romanov on the left side, and maybe you put him with Savard, and then you have Chiarot and Wideman as a third pair. I could also see that. But let's look at a different scenario for the forward group. Obviously, we're getting Carey Price and Jake Allen, but let's look at a different scenario for the forward group. So I have a hot take here. I say Hoffman with Suzuki and Caulfield. I could see that. You want to get Hoffman going right away, get him with Suzuki and Caulfield, the young guys. Then you have Duran, Dvorak, Toffoli. Toffoli went a little cold. People forget this. Toffoli went a little cold towards the second half of the playoffs in terms of scoring. He was really hot at the start. Obviously, he was hot all year. But maybe getting him with a primary playmaker in Duran, a more experienced guy in Dvorak. I like that potential line. I mean, I like the first scenario, what I showed already. But Hoffman, Suzuki, Caulfield, Duran, Dvorak, Toffoli. And then you kind of have like a lightning. I call it the lightning third line because when they brought in Gaudreau, Gord, and Coleman, a lot of other teams have been trying to replicate that, or at least trying to build their team in that way. If you want a line like that, that would be Anderson, Evans, Gallagher. Evans, we know the defensive responsibilities, and hopefully he can grow into a third line role. Because some fans, I mean, when the Kotkaniemi offer sheet was going around, some fans were like, hey, Evans could maybe step up. Well, let's not go from an extreme of a fourth line to a second line, but a third line role for Evans, I could see it. So Evans with Gallagher and Anderson, and then Lehkonen, Paquette, and Armia. Don't rush Paling if you don't have to. My opinion is he could start the year. Like, I could see Paling. He was in, 20-something games. He was a point per game in Laval, but I just think, let's see maybe half a season in the AHL. I just think he could be a December call-up or a January call-up. There's no need to rush Paling. Now that you brought in Paquette, you have Perreault as well. I could see Paling starting, but there's no need to. And that's why I'm saying a lineup like this could be more realistic. Even switching like Hoffman and Toffoli potentially. Something like that. Maybe see the scoring potential of Hoffman on his off hand, and then Toffoli on his offhand on the top line. I like this potential as well. And the defensive pairing stayed the same. As I said, Romanov could step up with Savard, then Sherratt and Weidman, or Sherratt and Kulak, but we'll see. I like this Habs lineup. I think it's a lot more of a threat offensively than last year. Well, I think Kotkaniemi could have produced more offense with this team. Change of scenery, you're bringing in more of a producer, at least proven producer in Dvorak, and more of a proven scorer in Hoffman. So that's what you're hoping for from Montreal, and then just continued development from Suzuki and Caulfield. So let's look at potential power plays, because penalty killers, we know who's going to be there. Gallagher, Evans, Anderson, Lehkonen, Paquette could be there, Armia. We even know Suzuki, Toffoli, Dvorak. All these guys can penalty kill, and Dvorak's great on the face-off as well. So we know they have so many options on this team for penalty killing, and the defense, I mean, 5 of those 6 guys on the defense can penalty kill, so that's not even a worry. Power play. So this is up for debate, but I like the potential of stick Anderson right in front of the net, get his body in front of the net. You could put Gallagher there as well, but he's smaller. Hoffman on his offhand, that was his one strength, even with St. Louis, like power play scoring. Suzuki on the other side, you have Caulfield and Petrie. Caulfield kind of sinking in sometimes with Petrie at the top. Your second unit, Gallagher at that front side, Toffoli on his offhand, Duran on his offhand, Dvorak at the face-off, and then Romanov. I like this. I don't think there's too much debate. I think the only other guy we could see on the power play would be like an Armia in the forward group. But for defense, I mean, Petrie and Romanov are your guys. The only other defense would be if Chris Weidman's in the lineup, then he could be on the power play as well. But I really like the potential of these power plays a lot more than last year. I think Hoffman's presence is going to be huge. That shot is going to be a lot more of a threat. Same thing with having Dvorak as your second center on that power play, I think is huge. So for Montreal, I think their power play gets a lot scarier. The only other aspect would be you're missing, obviously, Perry in front. I think Corey Perry is going to be a missed aspect because when Montreal's scoring went cold last year at times, Perry was a guy that kind of stepped up. But you're hoping for, now you have Dvorak, you have Hoffman, you're, again, the development of other guys. So this team should be better offensively and should be better on the power play. If they can stay healthy and have the big guys going, they should be better. So if you guys have any other questions, drop them in the chat. Drop it in the comments always. I'll stream. I'll make videos. Of course, welcome if you're new to the channel as well. I'm doing a lot of talking. I'm getting back into the videos, so I'm trying to be consistent, but the videos are coming. So let's go into Carolina's potential lineup. So Montreal fans, thank you. Hey, stick around for some more stuff. Carolina fans, this one's for you. So hot take, Kotkaniemi on the top line with Aho and Teravainen. So I have another scenario coming up for the forward group, but I could see this for Kotkaniemi to get his confidence going right away. Then you have Svechnikov with Trocheck and Necas. The only aspect of this I don't like is I think Svechnikov, Aho, and Teravainen is such a lethal top line. But sometimes you have to give a little bit to get something else. This probably brings more depth or more of a success point in your top 9 overall. And then Niederreiter, Stahl, Fost, and Martinuk with either Stepan and Lorentz at the center, and then Levo. Really solid forward group. And then Slavin, Pesce, the defense group got a little weaker, but still solid top pair with Shea, D'Angelo, Cole, Bear. Big question marks on those bottom 2 pairs. We'll see how they work out. And then Freddie Anderson, Ranta, question marks on the goaltending, but if Anderson can return maybe even closer to form, Ranta, stay healthy, they have options at the goaltending, but like question marks because health, consistency. I would say those are the 2 biggest question marks with the goaltending right now. And then this is the other scenario. So you bring back that top line, that stellar top line is Svech, Aho, and Teravainen. Niederreiter, Trocheck, Necas, that second line that has done so well. And then you have Kotkaniemi or Stahl as the third line center. Stahl can do a lot of the face-off stuff, but Kotkaniemi could maybe work out as a center with Stahl supporting him as a winger. Both guys can play center or wing, and then you have Fawcett there as well. And then Martinuk, Stepan, Levo. And then the only thing I'd change with defense is potentially Ethan Bear with Shea and then Cole with D'Angelo. But man, I like the forward group regardless. It's just a matter of where does Kotkaniemi fit in. I think he probably fits in either on the first or third line. The only reason I'm not saying second is like you probably want him with some kind of strong support. And while Trocheck had a great year, you don't want to mess too much with the success. So I would have Trocheck with one of the familiar guys he's been with, which is Niederreiter or Necas. And I just think you either put Kotkaniemi with the Finns, which is Aho and Teravainen, or you put him with the experience with the Capitan in Stahl. Pick and choose. So that's where I have Carolina kind of going with. And then penalty killers, again, a bunch of options. I mean, guys like Stahl, Fost, Martinook, Stepan, they're going to spend a lot of time on the penalty kill and their defense. I mean, Slavin, Pesci, Shea, those guys are going to spend a lot of the time on the penalty kill. And now you have Ian Cole, who's a stellar shot blocker, stellar penalty killer. Ian Cole is going to be a huge veteran for this team if he can stay healthy. And then power play. So I go run Svechnikov and Kotkaniemi in around the net. Both guys can stand in front of the net and cause a great screen, cause havoc. You have Aho and Teravainen kind of hovering around the faceoff circle, hovering around the top, looking for a pass down low, looking for a shot. Then you have D'Angelo on your number 1 power play unit. Your number 2, Stahl in around the net front, Trocheck, Niederreiter, and then you have like one of Pesci, Bear, Slavin. I think Pesci was the guy that we were seeing on the power play at times. Bear could be given an opportunity. Then you have Marty Necas there as well. So I like the potential of the power play as well, especially that top unit. Get Kotkaniemi scoring. I think that's been the problem in Montreal. Sometimes he goes through these spurts of just cold, then he shows well in a spurt of games. Get that consistency, get his confidence going on that power play. If he starts scoring on the power play or getting points on the power play, KK's confidence will start going up. So I want to see that. So let me know what you guys think. Back to the overall Montreal lineup. Montreal, Carolina, give me your grades in the comments. Let me know what you guys think on this lineup for Montreal, on the lineup for Carolina, and more content and streams to come. So subscribe, drop a like, leave a comment. This is John from Hot Take Hockey. Have a good one. Peace out.